It's not that this meal is unhealthy, it's clearly healthy, it's just for someone on a cut, especially when you get extra hungry, it's not going to be very satisfying. But this, I 100% agree with Matt on. Coach Greg, and today we're going to be going over MattDoesFitness's 2,500 calorie shredding diet. He's getting ready to compete in a bodybuilding competition, and he's decided to go on a 2,500 calorie diet. We're going to be going over what he's eating, analyzing it, telling you, does this diet make sense? Is it sustainable? Is it something you should do? So stay tuned and see what happens.
This is going to be like the opposite to my regular eating videos.
So if you're not familiar with MattDoesFitness, he's famous for eating crazy amounts of foods. 10,000 calorie diets, eating what his mother's cousin's former roommate ate, eating 3 times what his kid's wife's girlfriend's sister ate. Videos like that. Crazy amounts of food, and he has an amazing physique. So now he has to actually go on an actual diet. Is he going to be able to do it? Does he know what he's doing? Let's check it out.
Not only am I not hungry in the morning, I actually feel a little bit sick in the morning, so not eating food is easy. And like rule number 1 of cutting is if you're not hungry, obviously don't eat.
So Matt, when he wakes up, he's not really hungry. He has an upset stomach and he doesn't really want to eat. Does that sound familiar? Of any of you like that? But guess what? Just because he doesn't feel like eating doesn't mean he doesn't eat. He states that if you're not hungry, don't eat. But that's not true. Just because you're not hungry doesn't mean you shouldn't eat. You have 4 to 5 opportunities for muscle protein synthesis to occur each day. If you get up and you're not hungry and skip breakfast, you just missed your first opportunity. So even if you're not hungry, you should still eat something. Doesn't have to be a massive portion, but you should eat something and make sure it includes protein.
I'm shooting for about 200 grams of protein. Beyond that, I'm just kind of, I don't know, I guess I'm kind of eyeballing food.
He approaches his diet like this. He makes sure he eats 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. For him, about 200 grams. And the rest of the calories, doesn't matter where they come from.
It doesn't matter!
Total calories for the day, 2,500, 200 which come from protein. So what do I think of this approach? I think it's fantastic. Some days you have different cravings than others, and so why not mix up your meals? Vary a little bit. You don't have to be stuck eating the same old thing, chicken, broccoli, and rice, 5 times a day, every single day. Not only that, some days he's going to have more carbs, some days more fat. It's irrelevant. At the end of the day, what matters is he's in a calorie deficit. Whether he's eating mostly fats or carbs for energy, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter!
This is the broest breakfast in the world, by the way. A protein shake and a protein bar.
40 grams of protein, a bit over 300 calories. I see nothing wrong with this. However, if he was somebody that was hungry, that he felt like eating a lot, this would not be sustainable. If you're eating a small calorie-dense protein bar and a shaker cup mixed in water, you're gonna finish that and be starving. But Matt, he's early on in his diet, he's not very hungry, so this ensures that he gets the protein that he needs, and it's a quick and easy meal that he will make sure that he eats.
I'm not at the point where like I'm hungry. I mean, there may come a time where in the morning I'm hungry. At that point, maybe I'll go for a massive, more voluminous thing, but right now I'm just getting the protein and yeah.
100% agree with him. If you're hungry, you need to eat foods that are massive so that it stretches the stomach out a little bit, send signals that you're full, and you don't end up overeating. If you eat high calorie dense foods, small portions, you're going to be more hungry, and it's much more difficult to stick to a diet when you're starving. It's early in the prep, he's not very hungry, and as he gets leaner, he will in fact switch over to more low-calorie dense foods.
Annoyingly, I didn't track it for the last week. I lost a couple of kilos, but within the point when I got to 97 and a half kilos, I've tracked it right till today. This morning I was 93.7 kilograms.
So he's been dieting for over a month, and he's already lost over 5 kilograms. That is a lot of weight, but as he described, he was essentially force feeding. He was eating so much food, and as soon as he cut his calories, the weight dropped off. It's not all fat, it's mostly water weight, because when muscle glycogen stores go down, you're losing water weight. Every gram of carb stores 3 grams of water, so when you eat less food, your muscle glycogen stores go down and you lose a lot of water weight initially. Since then, it's slowed down a little bit, but I am concerned that he's losing the weight a little bit too quickly. When you lose weight too quickly, you're much more likely to lose muscle. The last thing you want to do when you're on a diet is to lose muscle. My advice, lose the weight as slow as you possibly can. The slower you lose weight, the better. You can even build muscle and lose fat at the same time. The best case scenario, but much less likely to happen if you're cutting weight too quickly. What's too quick? Well, if you lose more than 0.5 to 1% of your body weight, certainly very likely to lose muscle. So my suggestion, try not to lose more than about 1 pound a week if you're trying to build muscle while you're cutting.
And plus, with the bombshell from last week, the whole bodybuilding show thing, if it transpires that's going to be in like 3 months, like I can't cut for another 3 months because I'll literally die. So
you absolutely can cut for 3 months. The key is to cut slowly, slower than last time. You're dieting too quickly right now. Slow it down, and that way when you diet down, you will retain much more muscle. Not only that, you won't suffer as much. If you're in too great of a calorie deficit, your energy levels, they're gonna go down. You're not gonna be able to sleep as well. You're not gonna be able to train as hard, and you're gonna feel like garbage with a lack of energy. So my suggestion, lose weight a little bit slower. Try not to lose more than 1 pound a week, and you'll be fine.
I'm going to do sets of 10 for squats, which I mean is going to be horrendous. The weight's going to be very light just to facilitate that extra volume. I'm also slowing the movement down.
And how has his training changed? Well, he used to be training mostly for powerlifting, doing heavier weights for low reps. Now that he's focusing on bodybuilding, it's that much more important to build muscle. You don't want to get hurt pushing maximal weights. So on his squats, he's going to be going slower, using pauses, controlling the weight, lifting lighter weights but higher reps, somewhere around 10 reps.
The difference between me bouncing out of the hole and slowing reps down like that, coupled with doing 10 reps, it's so different, it's so uncomfortable.
He said it was brutal. Very difficult, and when you pause that weight in the bottom, the weight feels much heavier than it really is. So rather than going to the gym and focusing on how much weight you're lifting, focus on how hard you're training and be sure to train harder than last time.
Yeah, so 4 eggs, and then that on the side, that'll be absolutely optimal, mate.
Any toast?
Yeah.
Not the most filling option. I think the omelet is great, the chicken is great, but bread with butter, that's a lot of unwanted calories, high calorie dense food. Not going to be very filling, and for over 800 calories, I'm sure this is not very satisfying. Later on in prep, I'm sure he won't be eating the same foods because he'll just end up too hungry. It's not that this meal is unhealthy, it's clearly healthy, it's just for someone on a cut, especially when you get extra hungry, it's not going to be very satisfying. But this, I 100% agree with Matt on. He's drinking his Diet Pepsi. He says, go ahead and drink the Diet Pepsi. Studies actually support this. Drinking Diet Pop will result in losing more weight than drinking water. When you drink Diet Pop, it's sweet. It tastes sweet. And this can help prevent you from eating other sweets. It doesn't make you want more sweets. It in fact does the opposite. Having that Diet Pepsi, it's just enough to take your desire to eat some candy away from you. To me, it's an absolute no-brainer that if you want to include Diet Pop in your diet, go ahead and do so.
Very good, mate. Very good. Solid, like 8 out of 10 omelette.
Do you know how many 8 on 10 or better recipes there are in my cookbook? Matt could be eating twice the volume, be twice as full on the same calories if we're eating from my cookbook. Imagine how easy it would be for Matt to get shredded if he had my cookbook. Probably isn't aware of it, doesn't know just how good it is, and so he's dieting the hard way by going to restaurants and custom ordering meals, getting bread and butter. It's not going to work for too long. Maybe he has extreme willpower. Will Tennyson's willpower. Perhaps he does, but eventually willpower, it runs out. You cannot rely on willpower forever. That's why I strongly suggest you get the cookbook. Low calorie, delicious meals, amazing, taste great, gonna prevent you from binging and keep you full. And trust me, when you're not hungry, it's so much easier to stick to your diet. As soon as you get hungry, you're gonna have to use willpower to stop yourself from eating. Why use willpower when you can simply change the foods that you're eating and be full? And notice he's not skimping out on the butter. It's not light butter. I mean, at least he could be using peanut butter. Something better than just butter. Butter is not a health food. It's very high calorie dense foods, and butter, it's not really a source of a healthy fat. Much better to get his fats from other sources like salmon, avocado, flax seeds, and so on.
I'm going for a walk, kind of averaging like 7k or so a day, which is probably another 300 to 400 calories burnt.
And he's walking 7 kilometers a day, which is over 4 miles, and he says it's probably burning about 300 to 400 calories. It's actually close to 600. Matt is over 200 pounds. It's about 600 calories. He thinks it's 300 to 400. So do you see just how easy it is to miscalculate how many calories you need to eat? He thinks he's burning 300 to 400. He's burning 600. That's 200 plus calories more than he thinks he's burning. That means he's probably under eating by those 250 calories. So rather than having 2,500, he should probably be eating 2,750. Not only would this help him to be more full, it would prevent him from being in too great of a calorie deficit, allow him to retain more muscle, and not over diet.
When things start to get a little bit harder, I can ramp up the walking. I can then I can add in like little bits of cardio, maybe some runs, maybe some sprints.
Not a good idea. As you progress in your cut and you get leaner, you end up having less and less energy the leaner you get. When you start approaching 5% body fat, you are not going to have the energy to start doing sprints. And if you waste that energy doing sprints, runs, HIIT cardio, do you know where it's going to suffer? Your leg workouts will suffer. You won't have the energy to go all out. Think of it. He's doing 10 reps of squats, going slow, pause, strict control. Do you think he's going to have the energy to do hill sprints, runs, HIIT cardio, and do those difficult squats? Something's going to give. Overtraining is going to occur. Not a good idea to add in HIIT cardio and sprints when you're on a cutting diet. Save that for the athletes. When you're a competitive bodybuilder, don't really consider you to be a high-level athlete in terms of cardiovascular conditioning. You're not running in the Olympics. You're doing the cardio for your heart and to burn fat. HIIT cardio, not the smart choice when you're in a calorie deficit.
So can I please get a skinny decaf iced latte, whatever the biggest one is please, with a vanilla shot please.
And he's getting a massive vanilla skinny latte with the flavoring inside. What do I think of that? Why not? It doesn't have a lot of calories, it tastes good, it's going to be filling, and it's something he's craving. And if he were to switch from decaf to actually having caffeine, that would in fact burn more calories, boost his metabolism, increase NEAT, non-exercise activity thermogenesis, and allow him to burn more calories and suppress his appetite. So not everyone does well on a lot of caffeine, and we don't know. He drank some magic powder that he didn't want to talk about before the gym. Perhaps it was a pre-workout with a lot of caffeine, and he doesn't want any more coffee later in the day. If caffeine doesn't affect your sleep, it's certainly going to help you stick to your diet by boosting your metabolism and curbing your appetite.
Come to the beach for a romantic iced coffee, and I've got also an abstract protein bar.
And up next, a protein bar for a snack, getting in some much needed protein. Remember, 4 to 5 opportunities for muscle protein synthesis to occur. Smart move to add in a snack. He just finished doing cardio, probably hungry, fatigued, and so why not replace the calories that you burn with some protein?
Got a large box of stuff from Muscle Food. Specifically chose a lot of items to aid the cutting process.
And so I like this. Matt has a bunch of delicious snacks to help him on his cut. He's not against artificial sweeteners or things that are outside the box. Not everyone has to diet on chicken, broccoli, and rice, and the things he's adding, these are great. If it helps you to stick to your diet, why not? Low-calorie dense foods, things that are high in protein, these are going to help him stick to his diet. If your diet is too strict, you make too many changes, it's not sustainable, and what happens is, eventually your willpower runs out, you end up binging, and you gain back all the weight. So rather than do that, make small changes, get my friggin' cookbook, make changes, make the foods lower in calories, bring them into the circle, lower in calories, but yet still tastes amazing, and you're much more likely to stick to your diet for the rest of your life.
Marinade the salmon.
So he's got his salmon, shrimp, rice, and so on, close to 900 calories, 47 grams of protein, 95 grams of carbs, 35 grams of fat. It's not a very filling meal, but he really does like it. But as he continues to diet, it's likely not going to be as filling as it could be. Perhaps he could eat a little bit less of this, a little bit less of the rice, and have a massive salad on the side. It could be the same number of calories, the same protein, but be much more voluminous, much more filling. Add in some fiber, and you're much more likely to be satiated and stick to your diet.
A banana, which I'm going to eat shortly. Andy, excited about that?
Very excited about
You can tell by your face, he's very excited.
And happy to see he's not cutting out fruit. Don't worry, it's fructose, doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter!
He's gonna have a banana, an apple, and then another quick little protein drink before bed.
We looked at him earlier, right? I think I'm at pretty much bang on 2.5K, I think, in terms of calories, and then protein.
What do I think of this? I think it's great. I think he could actually eat even more. I think he needs to lose the weight a little bit slower. Bodybuilding show in 3 months, that gives him more than enough time to get shredded. He doesn't have to diet as hard as he is right now. So in conclusion, Matt should get my freaking cookbook, follow it, the diet will be easier than last time, and he'll reach his goals. Ending it here. GregDoucette.com for coaching, Greg Doucette IB Pro. Please watch one of the bloops. Don't forget to buy my supplements at HTLTsups.com. Also, that cookbook. Get the cookbook, get some supplements while you're at it. And until next time, I am out.